Welcome to Jerseys and Jail Cells, where we explore the stories behind the game, the victories, the challenges, and the decisions that shape careers. I'm Corey Raftery, here to guide you through the world of athletes, teams, and the choices that define them. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. I'm your host, Corey Raftery, and today we're going to be taking a look at Floyd Mayweather Sr. Now, this is relevant in today's society, uh, mostly because of the drug issues that are going on in our country as of recent years. Now, what did Floyd Mayweather Sr. do uh, as of this case? Well, he was a drug trafficker. He was moving cocaine. And, and this was back in 1987 to 1992. So, in that 5 year span, he was selling and distributing drugs from Chicago all the way until Grand Rapids. And it's an egregious amount of cocaine that he was distributing. He had repeatedly uh, delivered up to 4.5 ounces and up to 9 ounces for deliveries. And he even has at one point received a half a kilo, which is insane to think about because that's a lot of drugs just for one person who is distributing it over state lines. And that's not coming from another country. That's directly in our country. That is coming from one state to another state. And one of the witnesses that's of this crime group was basically said like every time he received cocaine shipments, he was their main supplier. He was their main guy that they went to. And Floyd Mayweather's senior's defense argued that he was merely an end user and not part of a large conspiracy. And they eventually appealed the court rejected the argument, saying that the quantities involved were far beyond personal use, and supported the idea that he was redistributing this cocaine. And so he re- so the courts basically said, "Hey, he was a street level distributor. He was involved in some way, and this was causing his suppliers to have an upstream of uh, pay coming to them as a result of this. And because of this, Floyd Mayweather Sr. ultimately got sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, but he ended up only serving 3 because of the fact that he was in good standing with the courts and with the prison, and so he got ultimately released after that 3-year mark. And going back to who he was born in 1952 in Mississippi, and his professional record as a boxer was 28 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie. And he out of those 35 matches, he had 18 KOs. So following that explains why Floyd Mayweather Jr. had such a good career, because his father had a good career. And right now, as of today, Floyd Mayweather Sr. is still a trainer for athletes in boxing. And when you really think about this, though, it's pretty interesting to think that when you are looking up to these people and these celebrities, as you would call them, in these sports, it's kind of interesting to see that we're looking up to people who may even be doing stuff like this. And obviously he changed for the better. He's now a coach. He's helping athletes grow as people. He's not doing this stuff anymore that we know of. But right now we have to be careful of who we look up to, because sometimes they are not the best people to look up to, and they might have a dark side behind what they're doing in the spotlight. And when you going back to Mayweather Jr., that might also explain why Floyd Mayweather Jr. Ultimately was charged with domestic abuse. Because I mean, his father went to prison, and that probably affected him in some way during his youth years, or during his younger years in his 20s. And so, look, man, it's an it's an issue for if your father is doing something bad, you're going to follow suit. You have to look at it at a perspective that some people can't understand that concept, that they can't they think that they need to do what their parents did, and they need to think that they have to try to they have to try to be the same thing to their parents. That's not the case. You want to be your own person. You want to make sure that you're doing the right thing, that you're being a good citizen, that you're trying to make a difference in somebody's life, and even in your own life. And so don't try to follow suit in your parents' footsteps if they're doing the wrong thing. You wanna emulate what your parents do, but you wanna make sure that you're doing the correct things to be able to get far and succeed in life. And I think that's the biggest thing overall when it comes to this case, is that you want to make sure you're not doing drugs, A, number one, and B, not following suit and getting in trouble like your parents. And I think overall this case was very, very interesting to look at. And do I think maybe there's an issue there with the use of drugs? That's why Floyd Mayweather Sr. kept going at it, and that's probably why he was found guilty for distributing drugs. But it could be a possibility. But again, he doesn't do that anymore. He's now doing the right thing, coaching um in boxing, and that's all you want to see in the end, is people doing the right thing and changing their life around. But that is all I have for you folks for this episode of your Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. I'm your host, Corey Raftery. Have a good one, and take care.